is Valley News Live at 6.
Breaking news tonight, the North Dakota Department of Health just announced that the state is ready to include the Johnson & Johnson vaccine into the state's vaccine rollout. The state is scheduled to get an initial allocation of 6,300 doses, which will go to pharmacies and urgent care. Those doses are expected to arrive this Friday. Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney said today if 1B vaccinations continue at the rate they're going, he feels the citywide mask mandate may not need to be extended beyond the current end date of March 22nd. Mayor Mahoney is reminding everyone, even though the numbers are looking great, the mask mandate is still in place, and he urges everyone to continue to be smart when in public. Grand Forks County Health Officer Dr. Joel Walls also said today they are continuously evaluating their mask order. Today's COVID-19 numbers are scrolling on the bottom of your screen. The COVID-19 vaccine is causing fear for some women in the valley as their post-shot side effects are mimicking those of breast cancer. But local health experts tell Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley that's likely not the case, and they explain what's actually happening in your body.
Just a few days after Beth Knockin got her first dose of the COVID vaccine, she woke up to an unexpected lump near her armpit.
And one was about the size of a golf ball. So that could be extremely concerning to somebody.
While it was a surprise to find the swollen lymph node, Knockin said thankfully she knew it was a possibility.
Swollen lymph nodes is something that occurs as a natural body's response to building up antibodies or a response to a vaccine.
To try to help your body prevent the infection from getting further, like into your bloodstream.
Dr. Clapp says the swelling will show up in your mammogram, but says that's no reason to cancel an upcoming appointment. Instead, she says to just let your doctor know which arm you got your vaccine in, and they'll handle the rest.
As radiologists, we see this on mammograms after people have had the flu vaccine, the shingles vaccine, the pneumococcal vaccine.
Clapp and Vetter say the reaction can be seen after either doses, but say the swelling will only be found on the side you got your shot on.
It would be very unusual to see it on the other side. And if we saw it on both arms, that's definitely something we would want to work up. And it probably would be less likely to be due to a vaccine and something more is going on there.
Clapp says it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for the swelling to disappear, but emphasizes if you're concerned, it's never a bad idea to contact your doctor. Knockin says while it is a more uncommon side effect, it's important women are aware and prepared.
So that they don't go through the scare. The cancer scare that is probably not necessary whatsoever.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Both Dr. Clapp and Dr. Vetter urge you to contact your primary care doctor with any side effects you experience after your COVID-19 vaccine, as it also helps local doctors and the CDC to better understand and keep track of how prevalent various symptoms are. Sanford Health says it is able to provide more vaccination opportunities now that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been approved. This week alone, Sanford is seeing its biggest distribution yet, an allotment close to 3,000. Sanford says the vaccine may have a 72% efficacy rate, but the vaccine should be treated with importance, like Pfizer and Moderna.
You get a proportional allotment. I think this could be close to additional 25 or 30 vaccines to the state of North Dakota by the end of March that we weren't counting on, just last week.
Sanford says the best way to help patients is for healthcare providers to keep vaccines in their own state and not share. Clay County Public Health is hosting a vaccine clinic tomorrow in Moorhead. The event is for Clay County residents over 65 only. It'll be at the Young-Comst Center from 1 to 5 p.m. Limited appointments are available and you must register. You can find more information on our website, valleynewslive.com. This March weather is sure feeling good. Let's find out how long it'll stick around. Here's Nathan with a look at tonight's forecast. Hey, Nathan.
Thanks, Andrea. Yes, a beautiful day for us on this second day of March, and I do have some good news. It's going to continue. Take a look at these temperatures for today. High temperatures, 50 that high temperature in Fargo, 53 the high in Grand Forks, 50 in Halleck. And I want to draw your attention also to Sisseton at 63 degrees. The high temperature there in Aberdeen, that's actually a new record for those folks there in Aberdeen. The old record was 60 degrees, so they beat that record there. by 7 degrees. Currently, we are 30 degrees warmer, round about 30 degrees warmer in Fargo, 24 degrees warmer in Devils Lake, 29 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday in Watertown. And here's those current temperatures, still 30s and 40s for most everybody, still holding on to 54 this hour in Sisseton. But you see that white line there, that's the 32 degree line. So that's associated with a cool front that I am monitoring very closely as it is marching its way across the international border. You can see some high clouds developing along the Highway 2 corridor, and then also some more organized cloud cover there in Winnipeg. This is the cool front I'm watching. Of course, I'll let you know what that means for us here through the overnight hours tonight, but also, Andrea, we'll look ahead to the rest of the week, which looks good, coming up here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, it sure does. Thank you.
Yep.
Nearly 24 hours after Valley News Live first broke to you the names of the 2 people killed in a Wadena County shootout with police, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is now confirming they are 42-year-old David Savala and 36-year-old Shannon Savala, brothers, both from Sebeka, Minnesota. The BCA is also identifying tonight that Deputy Troy Mayer and Officer Jason Worm are the 2 officers involved in the shooting. The BCA says Deputy Troy Mayer tried pulling over David Savala for speeding Saturday night near the intersection of 205th and 280th Avenue in North Germany Township. The BCA says he would not identify himself and refused to get out of his vehicle. Shortly after, David's brother Shannon arrived on scene and started shooting, hitting both Deputy Mayer and Officer Worm. The BCA says David pointed his gun at the officers and Officer Worm fired his gun, hitting David. Then they say Shannon pointed his gun at Officer Worm. Worm fired and also hit Shannon. David died on the scene. Shannon later died at the hospital. This is the man who police say is responsible for the crash, shooting, and robbery that took place in Fargo yesterday morning. Police first responded to a crash at 17th Avenue and 45th Street South. As they were investigating, there was another call, this time for gunshots on East Gateway Circle South. Not long after, a man reported his vehicle was stolen in an armed robbery. Officers learned that all incidents are related. Police arrested Damon Peterson and say he and the victim knew each other. We now know the names of everyone involved in a hit-and-run crash last Wednesday. It happened along I-94 in Otter Tail County. The Minnesota State Patrol says it started when Hillary Langfeld got into a crash and stepped out of her vehicle to check the damage. Then a 15-year-old boy hit her, a tow truck, and a Dodge Ram. The driver of the tow truck was identified as Robert Stockinger, and the driver of the Dodge Ram was identified as Alexander Warner. They were not hurt. The teenager was taken into custody, and the woman who was with him was identified as Amani Ashford. Langfeld sustained life-threatening injuries. A T-bone crash in Polk County sends 3 people to the hospital. It happened yesterday at the intersection of Polk County Roads 20 and 23. Donald Van Sickle was heading southbound on County Road 20 when he was hit by Christina Lambert, who was heading west. Donald and his passenger, Shirley Van Sickle, were taken to a hospital with what appeared to be non-life-threatening injuries. Lambert was also taken to a hospital and is expected to be okay. Veterans who need help are often left behind, and now there are ways you can help to get some veterans back on their feet. Homeless veterans often need socks, underwear, and hygiene products. Monetary donations can help pass legislation and bills that will assist veterans. The VA hospital can always use the extra support as well. Meetings are also being held to talk about ways to help veterans. They'll be on the first Thursday of every month at the West Fargo VFW starting at 7 p.m. Certain Minnesota workers are unable to claim jobless benefits. Later on Valley News Live at 6, how lawmakers are trying to change that.
And here's a look at that setting sun from our Valley Sky Cam in South Fargo. Beautiful out there this evening, but the north winds will make things a little bit cooler for us as we continue into the later hours on our Tuesday, falling into the 20s there in Fargo, and then cooling even faster in Grand Forks as that cooler air arrives sooner in the northern side. But we'll talk about this cool front next.